Joining us now from Parents Defending Education, Erika Sanzi. Erika, it's good to see you. What was your reaction when you heard that California State Superior Court Judge Thomas Garza issued a temporary restraining order against the Chino Valley School Board because of their policy that would require they tell parents if their child changes their gender identification or pronouns at school? What is going on here in California?
So this is an appalling ruling, and I wish I was shocked by it, but I'm not, unfortunately. A lot of people in positions of power in California are just hell-bent on trying to supersede, parents' rights. And the reality is it has long been understood and agreed upon that in this country, parents have a constitutional fundamental right to direct and guide the upbringing of their children. That is guaranteed in the 14th Amendment. And so, any state law or federal law that the judge is citing around privacy or discrimination is superseded by what the Supreme Court has held when it comes to parents' rights. So it's a terrible ruling. It feels like a total betrayal, and it does lend credence to those who have been saying for a long time, the state wants to control your children.
Yeah, it's outrageous. It's the parents and the child. I mean, what they're doing, children have so much anxiety anyway. And children always say, I'm going to be a pirate or I'm going to be a cowboy, right? And we had Bill Maher, even saying that a few years ago, that what they're doing is so off the wall and insane. So now a parent can't hear from a teacher in this Chino Valley School District if their kid wants to use a bathroom that isn't their biological gender at birth. Should they take it to the Supreme Court and fight it? And should every parent, I know it's difficult to do, should they just pull their children out of these public schools?
So I think that the expectation that people pull their kids, it's just not realistic for lots of logistical reasons. So while I understand that urge and that impulse, most people can't do that. The question about the Supreme Court, I think it's going to have to end up there because these battles, this is not just California. There are lawsuits about these issues that parents are filing all over the country. I suspect it's just going to increase.
Yeah.
And to your point, we are talking about also these children, it isn't that nobody knows this information. It isn't that they're being outed by the school. It's that everyone at school knows, and the school is deliberately withholding that information from the parents.
It's outrageous. And then, let's talk about what's going on in Florida. The public university system is in Florida. They're going to become the first to approve the classic learning test. It emphasizes Western canon and religious thought for use in admissions. But then you've got Harvard hiring failures. Harvard is hiring Lori Lightfoot and Bill de Blasio to lecture and teach students about media relations and leadership. Should they get a tuition refund if you go into Harvard?
Yeah, again, there's probably some people paying tuition that think that's great, but I certainly would be concerned. These are people who drove their cities into the ground. They drove their schools into the ground. They absolutely botched the COVID response. And it's this idea of failing upward. And I think that people are getting really tired of seeing that happen to people who just don't do anything right and then land these big jobs.
If you had your kid in Harvard, what would you tell America?
I would certainly be like, don't take that class. But again, Harvard also just this week, the free speech organization FIRE put out their rankings, and out of 100 possible points for free speech on campus, Harvard got 0 points.
Wow, 0 points on free speech at Harvard. Who would have thunk it? All right,
Correct.
Erika Sanzi, thanks for joining us. It's good to see you.